What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all having a great day. Today's video was going to be about us bringing parts to the shop for the truck to get worked on, but unfortunately things didn't go as planned, so I will talk about what happened in this video. So the plan was to install a 10-inch lift. They were going to install coils in the front. They were going to build me a custom 4-link long arm kit in the front to accommodate for the 10-inch lift because my old long arm kit was only for a 2 to 6-inch lift. And they were going to put a 3rd gen T-style steering linkage in the front. They were going to install my Dodge off-road track bar, and they were going to put blocks in the rear temporarily because I was going to have shackle flips sent out to put in the rear so that way I can completely level the truck out. So on the 14th of May, I headed over to the shop in Milwaukee, Oregon, and I met with the owner of the shop as well as the builder that would be working on my truck to go over everything that they'd be doing to my truck. And then on May 15th, the following day, we had the truck towed to the shop because the track bar, the old track bar, I couldn't get the threads to lock on the track bar so I could drive it to the shop. So I had it towed to the shop, and they said that they would be able to order the parts and they'd be here in a couple days. So then I ordered all the things I needed to order, like the coil springs and the shocks for the front and the rear, and I had them all ordered, shipped out as fast as possible, so that way we can get the truck done as fast as possible because I use the truck for work. So he said it'd be about 2 to 3 days, so I was expecting to get the truck back on the 18th or the 19th. And after the first night the truck was in the shop, it didn't get worked on because they had other trucks come in that they wanted to work on, just quick little lift kits. Pretty much that day I thought they were going to be working on my truck, but they didn't end up getting to it, like I said. So that night I was talking to the builder of the truck, just going over everything, making sure the next day things would be moving along. And he said that he was waiting on some of the Heim joints to come in. So I said, all right, no problem. So when I first met the shop owner about 6 years ago, he had one shop, he was working by himself, and now he has over 4 shops and over a dozen employees. And I saw that he was trying to start up an Instagram page. He only has about 50 followers. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to help him grow his Instagram page a little bit. So I wanted to reach out to him about a potential sponsorship or maybe a partial sponsorship. And he said that he couldn't do that because he wasn't large enough to be able to give out products yet, which was completely fine. And I thought, okay, I just thought I would ask. I just wanted to give the opportunity to help you out as well as helping me out, kind of work with each other on a sponsorship. So the following day I went back to the shop to start the recording process of them working on my truck, when the manager of the tire shop, which is a completely different shop than the suspension shop at what my truck was being worked on, came up to me and approached me a little aggressively, saying that me asking for a sponsorship was not cool, and then proceeded to talk to me about, asked me what I did for a living, and asked me if I had ever had someone sit over me and watch me work all day while I was working. And I had said yes, because I'm a contractor and I remodel a lot of bathrooms, and I've had people sit over me and watch me install tile and do floors, painting, all kinds of stuff. So I said yes, and he said, no, you haven't. You don't know what it's like. These guys don't like people sitting over them, watching them work all day. At which I told him that I got permission from the guy who would be working on my truck all day, the shop manager of the suspension shop, as well as the owner of all the shops. I have permission from both of them. So I just thought it was a little disrespectful for him to come at me like that, not knowing all the facts of the situation. So with that being said, after that, the quality of the work that I got had changed. You guys can see there, before I asked for the sponsorship, the welds were very clean and they looked perfect. And then after me asking for a sponsorship, they were very popcorn-like and they just did not look good at all. And then also, they were pushing me very hard about powder coating the long arms, which, as you guys can see, they had popcorn-like welds on the long arms, so they're not even ready for powder coat yet. The shop owner told me that either I was going to have to pay to have them powder coated, because he didn't want to leave in the shop not powder coated. He didn't want them rusting out in 2 weeks. And he kept pushing me towards getting the powder coated, even though I kept saying, no, I didn't want to get them powder coated because I didn't want to have my truck at their shop any longer. So on the night of the 28th, I got a text from the guy working on my truck saying that the truck was almost done. He'd have the truck done the following day. In the morning of the 29th to pick my truck up, and I noticed that the truck wasn't sitting at 10 inches of lift. So I went into the guy working on the truck to talk to him about it, and he said that the shocks that we got sent out were wrong, and that he needed a drop pitman arm to be able to lift the truck up completely at 10 inches. I just don't understand how he didn't realize this prior to working on the truck, because he didn't start working on the truck the night before, even though he had the truck for 2 weeks. And they had told me that it would take 2 to 3 days to get all the parts in and get the truck completely done. So that was a little disappointing. So that night when I was driving the truck home, I noticed a louder than normal turbo whistle, which I thought was kind of weird. So I popped the hood and I realized that my air filter was completely detached from the air filter hose, which I thought was really weird that they'd be under the hood working. I don't know what they were doing underneath there. And then also the next day I had realized, looking over the whole entire truck, that they had spray painted the inside of my wheel wells in the front with a flat black spray paint. I don't know why they were spray painting my truck, but they spray painted my truck. I don't know why. Next day, looking over the invoice, I also realized that they charged me for things extra, like putting the shocks in the front, which they didn't do, and working on the back, which was included in the price that they didn't do. And I actually ended up paying more than I got told the original price before, which was very confusing for them doing half the work over the 2 weeks I had the truck. Here's the coil springs they installed, and they reinstalled my shocks I originally had on there and the shock towers. Like I told you guys in my very first video, I'm gonna give you guys my honest opinion, honest feedback about products that go onto the truck, companies that I work with, and companies that work on the truck. And after my experience with this company, I'm not gonna be recommending them to anybody because of the way that I was treated, and I just felt like I got really taken advantage of. So there's just a couple of things I wanted to go over. The reason why I won't be recommending this company to anybody. The first one would be the fact that I got charged for work that I didn't end up doing. So I got charged for them to install my new shocks, install the shock mounts, work on the rear, put the new blocks and all that stuff. Never ended up happening. My second point would be the spray paint in the wheel well, which I'll show you here in a second. So as you can see, they sprayed my inner wheel well, which I had sprayed with a gloss black, and it had that metallic sparkle over it with a clear coat. I mean, yeah, it's nothing special or perfect, but I liked it, and they just ruined that for whatever reason. So my third reason is gonna be the day I went to pick the truck up on the 29th. I was talking to the guy that was working on my truck. We were going over the front end of the truck, and an employee from the tire shop came over, opened up my door, and started going through my truck. For what reason, I don't know, but that really pissed me off. And then after that happened, we got finished on talking about everything that he did and what he didn't do to the truck. And I wanted to pay for it and asked if I could pay, and he says, we need to write up an invoice. So I said, okay. I was kind of standing there, you know, waiting around thinking, okay, it'll take him a couple minutes. He said, I'll go ahead and send you a text when the truck should be ready to pick up. And I was thinking, send me a text? I live all the way in Vancouver. What's gonna take so long to write up an invoice? So I said, okay, I'll go hang out for a couple hours or whatever. So I was sitting across the street and I was waiting there, and about 4 o'clock rolls by and I sent him a text, hey, is my truck ready to be picked up? He replied within 10 seconds, 15 seconds to me sending him that text saying, yes, the truck's ready to be picked up, you can come get it. And I was just like, why didn't he text me when it was ready? I don't get why I had to send him a text to see if it was ready. It's almost like they were trying to hold it as long as I could for some reason, whatever, I don't know. The fourth reason would be when I was sitting across the street, I was watching YouTube videos on my phone around 12:30. I heard a loud truck coming down the road, so I looked up and I realized it was my truck, and they were driving the truck rolling coal down the road. And I thought it was very ridiculous for them to be doing that. It was completely unnecessary. There was no need for them to be doing that. So that really irritated me as well. And my final reason was the fact that I took the truck to there because the fact that he said he'd get the parts in within 2 days. I had all the parts, spent a lot of extra money on shipping to get all the parts there in 2 days, which they were there Thursday. I dropped the truck off on Tuesday, all the parts were there Thursday, and it took over 2 weeks for them to get the truck back to me. So that is all my reasoning and why I will not recommend this shop to anybody. The new steering linkage they installed, the new track bar from Dodge Off-Road. Here's the back, completely untouched. Gonna be a wrap on today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribing already, then please hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. We got tons of truck content coming now that the truck's back at home. We got a video coming later in this week, as well as one coming next weekend, so make sure to tune in for those videos. I'll see you guys next time. And now it's finally time to select the winner of the Never Satisfied giveaway number 2. Everyone that entered correctly, I put your name into a random name generator, which I will select now. Congratulations, Big Red _ Cummins. You have won a pair of spike lugs or merch of your choice. I'll send you a DM on Instagram letting you know you have won. Make sure to tune in for the next videos coming up, because I will have more giveaways coming up.